What's up, Bills Mafia? Welcome back to the channel, your home for everything Buffalo Bills. From exclusive news and insider updates to honest conversations with the best fans in the NFL. Now look, we all know the mission. This team is working harder than ever to sharpen every piece of its game. Whether it's in the film room, the weight room, or the draft war room, the Buffalo Bills are fully committed to one goal: winning that elusive Super Bowl, and every move they've made this offseason reflects that mission. But if you've been paying close attention, you probably noticed something different about the way the front office has approached the wide receiver position. No WR1, no big name splash. After moving on from Amari Cooper, no chase for a top-tier receiver after last year's Diggs trade. Today we're diving deep into the real reason behind that. And trust me, it's not just about money. But yes, that $30 million price tag does have a lot to do with it. So before we dive in, do your part. Smash that like button, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a single Bills update. Alright, let's talk about the bold new approach Buffalo is taking in 2025 and what it means for Josh Allen, the offense, and this team's Super Bowl window. Let's start with the headline. The Buffalo Bills are officially out of the $30 million wide receiver market. That's right. According to Dan Graziano's offseason breakdown for ESPN, the Bills are one of a growing number of teams that believe the wide receiver market has simply gotten too rich to justify those massive contracts, especially when elite talent is hitting the draft every year. Graziano wrote, there are several teams around the NFL that think the receiver market has grown too much, upward of $30 million per year for the top guys, and don't want to follow it there. The Bills, as last offseason's Diggs trade indicates, are one of those teams. And honestly, it tracks. Think about it. The Bills traded Stephon Diggs. They let Amari Cooper walk. And instead of dropping the bag on one WR1, they spread the cap space across multiple role players and depth pieces. See, strategy? Optionality over star power. General manager Brandon Beane hinted at this strategy when he said post-draft, "We finished second in the league in points per game last season without a star wideout." That tells you something. And he's right. Despite not having a true WR1, the Bills averaged 30.9 points per game last year. That's second in the entire NFL. Let's take a look at how the Bills rebuilt this WR room on a budget, and why it might actually be smarter than chasing a $30 million receiver. Here's the current wide receiver depth chart going into 2025. Khalil Shakir, the breakout star from 2024, who put up 76 catches for 821 yards and 4 touchdowns. Keon Coleman, last year's 33rd overall pick, expected to make a big second-year leap. Curtis Samuel, the do-it-all weapon signed in free agency. Elijah Moore, the shifty route runner who just joined on a $2.20 million deal. Joshua Palmer, a deep threat from the Chargers. Laviska Shenault Jr., a gadget guy who adds physicality and versatility. 6 experienced NFL receivers, none of whom are making more than $10 million a year. Instead of paying one guy $30 million, the Bills are investing in depth, versatility, and matchup flexibility. And with tight ends like Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, and a pass-catching backfield led by James Cook, Josh Allen has more options than ever. No, there's no clear WR1, but maybe the point is, they don't need one. And while the Bills were going bargain shopping for receivers, they went all in on defense in the draft. And for good reason. Last year, the Bills finished 28th in team defense grade, according to Pro Football Focus. That's not going to cut it if you're serious about a Super Bowl run. So what did Brandon Beane do? He flipped the script. 6 of Buffalo's 9 picks in the 2025 NFL Draft were defensive players. The first 5 picks, all defense. The crown jewel? First-round pick Maxwell Hairston, a blazing fast cornerback out of Kentucky who ran a 4.28 40-yard dash. He's expected to start opposite Christian Benford right away and help lock down some of the fastest receivers in the league. Then you've got TJ Sanders, Landon Jackson, and Deone Walker, 3 defensive linemen with legit tools to contribute early. Dorian Strong and Jordan Hancock, late-round secondary additions who could surprise in camp. And given that Michael Holt and Larry Ogunjobi are both facing 6-game suspensions for PED violations, those rookies may need to step up early. Football Focus analyst Dalton Wasserman said, if Buffalo can get meaningful snaps from just a few of these rookies, they'll have the supporting cast needed to make a serious Super Bowl push. And that's the point. The Bills aren't trying to win in September. They're building a team that peaks in January and February. So let's zoom out. Yes, the Bills didn't sign a WR1. Yes, they used the draft to load up on defense. But the message behind these moves is clear. This team is betting on structure and scheme over splashy names. Here's how they're thinking. Josh Allen doesn't need one elite receiver. He needs multiple reliable weapons who can win matchups and stay healthy. Investing in the trenches and the secondary gives Buffalo a chance to dominate on both sides of the ball. And by staying out of the high-end WR market, the Bills keep their salary cap flexible for future extensions, like Josh Allen, James Cook, and others. It's not sexy, it's not flashy, but it might be smart. And it shows that Brandon Beane is playing chess, not checkers, in a league where everyone's chasing the next highlight. Real receiver. All right, let's get into it. Mark your calendars, Bills fans, September 7th, 2025 at 8:20 p.m. ED. The lights will shine bright on Highmark Stadium one last time for a season opener. And it's going to be electric. The NFL just made it official. Buffalo versus Baltimore under the lights on NBC's Sunday Night Football, kicking off what could be the most pivotal season in recent Bills history. And here's what makes it even more special. This will be the final season opener at Highmark Stadium before the new stadium era begins in 2026. That's right, the last first game in a building that's been home since 1973. That alone makes this moment historic. But the matchup? Oh man, and it's as juicy as they come. This isn't just any week 1 game. This is a playoff rematch. And you better believe both teams remember what went down in January. Buffalo edged out Baltimore in a nail-biter, 27-25 in the AFC Divisional round. That win? It still echoes through the walls of Highmark. But let's not forget, the Ravens smacked the Bills early last season during a Sunday night game in Baltimore. So yeah, that's history. There's tension, and there's revenge on the line. This is a clash of contenders. Two teams that are loaded, hungry, and led by two of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league. On one sideline, you've got Josh Allen, fresh off one of the most complete seasons of his career. And don't forget, he narrowly won the MVP over Lamar Jackson. It was close, real close, and you better believe Lamar hasn't forgotten that. On the other sideline, you've got Lamar Jackson, the two-time MVP who's still looking to take Baltimore all the way. He's electric, he's unpredictable, and when he's locked in, he's downright terrifying. Put him under the lights in Orchard Park, and it's going to be fireworks. Now, here's where this gets even more fascinating. This game is just the first of 5 primetime showcases for Buffalo this season. That's right, 5. Let's break it down real quick. Week 1 versus Ravens, Sunday night. Football week. 3 versus Dolphins. Thursday night football week 5 versus Patriots. Sunday night football week 6, Falcons. Monday night football week 12, Texans. Thursday night football. And that's not even counting potential flex games down the stretch. The league is betting big on Buffalo, and why shouldn't they? The Bills have been one of the most consistent contenders in the AFC, and they're still in their prime. NFL VP of Broadcast Planning, Mike North, even said it himself. That's a team we're going to rely on from week 1 through week 18. Translation? Buffalo is must-watch television, plain and simple. Let's zoom back in on the week 1 showdown. Beyond the star quarterbacks, beyond the playoff revenge, this game is a tone setter. The Bills want to show the league and the world that this is their year. No Stephon Diggs, no problem. The offense has been retooled and reloaded with guys like Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir, and Dalton Kincaid ready to elevate. And don't sleep on the new-look defense, especially with Maxwell Hairston locking things down in the secondary. The Bills are younger, faster, and arguably deeper than they've been in years. Baltimore's no slouch either. They've beefed up their defense, added weapons around Lamar, and they're coming in angry after that playoff exit. This game will feel like a postseason battle in week 1, and that's not hyperbole. Plus, let's talk about the setting. Highmark Stadium. The fans, the noise, the emotion. It's the last first dance Bills Mafia. After 53 years, this will be the final time we open a season at this historic building. That alone should send chills down your spine. Imagine that energy. Imagine the fireworks. Imagine Josh Allen rolling out, finding Kincaid over the middle, or launching a deep shot. To Coleman, goosebumps. And don't overlook the symbolism here. The Bills are transitioning, not just stadiums, but eras. The franchise is putting its chips on a youth movement, but still chasing the Super Bowl with urgency. Hosting a heavyweight like Baltimore in week 1 sends a message. This team is not backing down. The NFL didn't have to pick this matchup. They could have gone with plenty of flashy choices. Eagles versus Cowboys, Chiefs versus Bengals, but they chose Bills versus Ravens in Buffalo under the lights. Why? Because this is a game with weight, with legacy, with real stakes. It's not just a week 1 game. It's a statement. So now the question is, will it work? Can a WR by committee approach actually bring the Bills the offensive consistency they need? Can the rookies on defense rise to the occasion and support another deep playoff run? Only time will tell. But what's clear is this. The Bills aren't following the crowd. They're set in their own path. And if it all clicks, we could be looking at the most complete Bills team we've seen in the Josh Allen era. Now it's your turn, Mafia. I want to hear from you. Do you agree with the Bills' decision to avoid the $30 million wide receiver market? Do you believe Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir can step up and lead this offense? Which rookie defender are you most excited about in 2025? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if you made it this far, you know what to do. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and hit subscribe so you never miss an update on your Buffalo Bills. We've got more breakdowns, interviews, and exclusive coverage coming all off season long. Until next time, stay locked in, stay loud, and as always, go Bills.